So this is the final session of 4 for Hearts of Wulin for Sunday mornings in January for Gauntlet. We had significant number of change-ups last time in terms of events. We will come to that. This is a Power of the Apocalypse hack that is trying to emulate Chinese wushu TV dramas, and in certain respects, movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Sentimental Swordsman, things like that. And our characters have had some complications in their lives, to say the least. I'll come to the summary of that in just a second. If you're watching this and wondering what the what, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, this video games, and we do a lot of games every month on our calendar. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. You'll find that we have a blog there. We have a monthly zine through our Patreon, and we have a number of podcasts. So just to give you a heads up, if you want to find out what's going on, if you like actual play videos and you happened on this one, check out the rest of my channel, because it is primarily that. I don't think I have any other content except for some weird luchador videos from about 2 years ago, but we won't talk about that. So we are going to begin. We have 3 returning players, 4 technically returning players. Ludo is in baseball terminology, essentially the pinch hitter who comes in at the end. This happened with Scup, where he was in session 1 with me when I played, and then came back in session 4 and murdered me, murdered my character in the end of the game. So let's hope that doesn't hold true here. So last time we saw a number of key events, and I'm going to just kind of highlight the big moments, I think. One was Delon going to Shadowed Sabers, his nemesis's holding in the estate outside the city, starting to scout it, but being attacked by someone who used the same poison style that he knew. Delon had to fall back and met with, and I'm going back a little further than just last session, met with Lin Su, our alchemist, traveling merchant, to essentially get healed, and they came to an understanding on that. We also saw Bao Wang come and have some realizations potentially about his own order, that his order had come and had met with Shadowed Saber, and might be doing some kind of deal with them, with Saber's people, in order to gain something. As well, that perhaps Bao was not regarded as highly as Bao thought he was. And that was sort of crushing for Bao's ego in some ways. And we saw Ming return back to her house, still a little distraught, and work to bring herself back together. But then heard a noise, went outside, and found Falling Blossom. Falling Blossom has been an NPC who's been throughout. Falling Blossom turned out to be a servant of Shadowed Saber, and had some conversations with the characters and seemed to have maybe changed his life a little. The big revelation being that he is, in fact, the brother of Little Fox and Littler Fox, the 2 assassins that have been sent around. In any case, Falling Blossom was very badly injured, and essentially told Ming that he had gone to speak with Shadowed Saber, and that he had spoken for his sisters, and that he had not been particularly well received, that they had seen him interacting with Delon and the others, and so essentially they they set to kill Falling Blossom, and Falling Blossom was beaten but managed to make his way there. And then I believe at that point, as Ming was attempting to get Falling Blossom to some medical aid, that I believe it was it Bao that showed up at that point? Yeah, Bao showed up to aid, but then the Fox sisters arrived on the scene, and the Fox sisters were still smarting, at least one of them from having been beaten, though she would never say that, by Ming. And Bao and Ming took on the Fox sisters, though to Bao's eyes, it still looked like Ming was a bystander. And so once again, the Fox sisters were defeated, and they were essentially tied up. The group then moved to where Delan and Lin Su were, but two of Shadow Saber's agents had arrived and tried to set Lin Su's cart on fire. Lin Su and Delan engaged with them, and Lin Su held his own, but Delan, still weak from the poison, was defeated, and that was the scene that the others came upon. And it was at that point that Bao went to aid Delan and saved him. And Ming went to take Falling Blossoms to her grandmother. When she got to her grandmother told her that they needed to kill Bao. And when Ming objected, because there was this injured person, her grandmother attempted to kill Falling Blossoms to get him out of the way, to clear the path for the vengeance that was necessary. I believe that the other sort of big thing at the end, after defeating these two agents of Shadowed Saber, that they went back to get the Fox sisters, and they found that, I believe, Littler Fox had been grabbed up by some of his agents, but Little Fox was still there, and I believe Lin Su has at this point, we're going to say, spirited her away for the moment to some safety. If we want to bring her back onto the table, she is still available to be brought back on, but essentially that's where they are at that point. Did I miss? I'm sure I did. Did I miss any crucial pieces, crucial details in that summary? Anything that I missed? Oh, you're wrong, and we'll figure that out later. But we'll go on. So what I want to do today is, as we do at the start of each session, is we're going to take a look at the entanglements. If they're still there, if they need to be revised, if they need to be changed in light of current circumstances, to reflect what you want to engage with today. We'll go through and do that. And we're going to go through the three players from last time, and then we'll come to Ludo, who's bringing back Battleful Providence. I know you have some ideas, and we'll confirm on those, and we'll make sure that fits with everything here, so we get you a complete story. And then once we're done with entanglements, I'm going to check in and see, what are the things you definitely want to see today on the final session. So Ming, let's talk about your entanglements.
Yeah, so I really like the entanglement. My master, Jian Jiang, who is my grandma, has secretly trained me as part of a revenge plot against my friend Bao Wang. That, like, the shocking revelation that the whole reason I was taught Kung Fu was so that eventually I could bring her revenge plot against Bao Wang to fruition, which was something that was revealed last game. I really like that as an entanglement. I kind of am think I like my romance to Falling Blossom. I find that more interesting than to Little Fox, who has, like, over the course of the game, expressed zero interest in reciprocating that whatsoever. So I think that I changed my romantic entanglement to I love Falling Blossom, but their family member Littler Fox has sworn revenge against me.
Oh yeah, because she doesn't know what's going on, but twice you have humiliated her.
Yeah.
She and here's the thing is she can't say that you humiliated her because she didn't really fight you, and yet you managed to defeat her.
Oh yeah.
And then there was the sticking of the bun in her mouth during the fight. She was very unhappy about that.
Yeah, like getting beaten by Bao Wang, that's one thing. Like you can walk around and say, yeah, we almost took him, but he's a mighty warrior. But the tofu lady kicking your ass, that's
so in that case, probably what has happened is Littler Fox has been taken back to Shadowed Saber. And Shadowed Saber is going to give her one more chance.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
To defeat these heroes. So she is squarely there. Let's come to Delon. Delon, are you happy with the entanglements that you have?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
I'm going to keep I am secretly the uncle of Ming, stepdaughter of the Shadowed Saber, who I have sworn to kill him and his entire clan. I think I'm going to keep that one highlighted because I have, despite what you just said, maybe I'm wrong, I have a feeling that the Shadowed Saber is going to be more of an issue, and I can play on those links.
Oh, yeah. Possibly. I think we'll see Shadowed Saber today.
And then my other entanglement, I changed it to I will share my love for Bao Wang, my Beijing, after my revenge against Shadowed Saber is enacted.
So you can't bring yourself. You want to say, but you've made this oath to yourself not to speak of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I like that. Bao Wang, let's come to you.
I would like to keep my entanglement, the prophecy that has kept Mingshang and me apart, because their grandma is determined to make sure of that. And I've changed the second one because that was relating to Lin Su, to my friend Bountiful Providence hates my master Chao An, but refuses to tell me why. I think I might start to get some inklings of why that might be, but they haven't said so. And well, if that's all right with you, Ludo.
And what it is you may realize that his master does not respect him as Bao Wang believes that he does, that she does. Your master Chao An is a woman, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, sorry. So with that in mind, let's come to you, Ludo, to Bountiful Providence. And before we go on, remind us quickly who Bountiful Providence is.
So, Bountiful Providence was to be a master chef in one of the many governor courts of the land. At some point, he just declared that there was nothing that he could learn on the kitchen. So if he was to become the supreme chef of the land, he have to master Kung Fu. So he's been traveling around, learning from different masters, getting an improvised style that mishmashes a bit of what they learn. But at the same time, this wandering style involved him on a side of the life of his clan, the Sparkling Killing clan, and that soured his relationship with his husband, Spartan Killing King, especially because they have grown in love with Bao Wang. And that's actually how we got introduced to the Fox sisters, is when they tried to assassinate Bountiful Providence allegedly because Sparkling Killing King wanted his husband out of the way. So, yeah, that was pretty much their role during the first session.
They have come back and they have not done well. They have repeatedly been on screen and have not yet succeeded. All they did was crush Ming's heart at one point. I think that's their biggest success. So what do you think you want to do in terms of revising those entanglements to fit with where we are in the story and where the characters are at?
So I want to put aside the angle of the Sparkling Killing King. So to tangle with the current mess going on, I think I want to change my romantic entanglement to I love Felling Blossom, but Shadowed Saber has seduced their family with wealth, status, and power. So it creates this love triangle, puts him right in the action, and puts him again against the Fox sisters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it gives us a good angle for entry into things. And what do you want for your other entanglement?
For the other entanglement, I think I'm going to evolve the previous entanglement, which was about my friend Ming Zhang and Pale Tiger, the noodle shop owner, which ended up not being used. So instead, to close another loop, I'm going to change, if this is okay with Jim, that my friend Ming has been lied to by their grandmother, but they will never believe me.
And that's something that you kind of knew, and that we can bring that together. So today, we're definitely going to see the grandmother on the screen. We want to see Chao An on the screen. We want to see Shadowed Saber on the screen, and we want to see a littler fox on the screen. Does that seem like a fair assessment of where we're at? So what I want to do is, so my order of things is, I'm going to start with Ming. We're going to play through that scene a bit, and maybe at the end we'll see how we can link that with Bountiful Providence. And then I want to come back to Dalan and Bao in the wake of that fight and in the wake of Shadow Saber's more direct attack. Does that seem like a good structure for this beginning? Okay. So Ming, she drives that chopstick through your hand.
Yeah, and and I grip my teeth, and a single tear runs down my cheek, but I don't cry out, because I know I have to be tough in like in front of my grandmother. But I just kind of twist my hand, and kind of slap the chopsticks aside, and I say to her, there's no need to kill him. There's no need to kill him because he is dead to them already. They have he has betrayed them, and by killing him, you do their work for them.
Let's have you roll Hearts and Minds.
All right, yeah, I think that's appropriate.
I'll grab the copy. Grab the link. What are you rolling? Oh, Jim vanished. Of course, he had to make a roll, so he had to vanish.
I thought I had Reign of Assassins, not Jim. Just kidding.
I love that. Just at the high point, Jim, is when you vanish.
Well, that's this guy's fault.
Oh,
so
okay.
he walked on the wrong part of the keyboard. So sorry about that.
No.
So Hearts and Minds, I'm rolling with. What am I rolling with for Hearts and Minds?
Yeah.
I decide, right? Because it's
you decide, and here's the thing: is you are not in great shape.
I am not. No, I have several of my chi are marked at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with metal.
That makes sense.
Kind of trying to take control of the situation here. So let's see what we got. Bing. 9 + 1 gets me to 10.
Excellent. So she bows to your words, and she will say, yes, but you need to deal with Bao.
And I kind of cock my head, and I say, and I say, yes, grandmother, I will happily speak with him. What should I tell him?
And she says, you know what I mean.
And that's kind of where I sort of, my eyes go wide, and I say, but what does Master Bao have to do with any of this?
There is a long history here, and I have only trained you in order that you might deal with Bao.
This feels like inner conflict to me.
Yeah.
Just
the good news is you get to mark XP when you roll inner conflict.
It's like the very definition of why that move exists. All right, so I got that.
Okay.
And oh man.
Yes.
I'll roll with metal again.
Keep your control.
Yep, trying to hold it together here. That's what I got left. 7 and 1 gets me to 8. So I got a 7 and 9.
You have a choice. You can mark metal
and
hold steady there.
Yep.
Or you can flee.
Oh, I think I'm out with that.
Okay.
I think this is where I kind of stare at her, and then I just grab up Falling Blossom and throw him over my shoulder, and burst out through the door out into the night.
And you will crash out into the darkness. And I think we're going to come back to that in a second, but I think that's the point at which we're going to have Bountiful Providence. I think you're going to cross paths with her in a moment. Does that seem fair? Okay. So let's do Delan and Bao and then come back to that crossroads. Delan, what is your emotional state right now following that loss and that rescue?
He's pretty distraught, and he's in his disguise. Probably, like if here's the noodle shop, he's probably taking a wide circle around it, like walking around it, just because he is concerned for his niece, and he's trying to trying to figure out how to resolve both the niece and Shadowed Saber issue. And then, of course, his Beijing is here. So he's really confounded right now.
Is it that he's torn between all these different options, or is there one that you think Delan wants to do, but it can't quite commit to it?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, he doesn't know how to put everything together as to create an actionable plan,
Okay. So yeah, I think it represents a kind of general confusion when you start to make a choice. I think that's when we're going to move to the inner conflict. Let's see what Bao is doing and maybe bring that together. Bao, you saved Delan.
Yes.
But she didn't know it was Delan.
He
I'm sorry. He didn't know it was Delan at the time.
Okay. So saved this merchant folk.
I think at the end of the last session, I was aware that I was with Dylan.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because I wouldn't have gone with some merchant I didn't know to kill Shadowed Saber and rescue Lin Su because, well, who's this guy? I think I have a move for actually making plans, you know?
Yes.
So I would know. No, I think Bao wants to rescue his friend Lin Su, and to do that, we have to get into Shattered Saber's palace, which should not be very much of a problem, since my good friend Dylan here is a master of disguise. So he could disguise himself as one of these mooks we took down, these 4 thingies, and then we could go in, and then we could go down to where they hold the prisoners, get Lin Su, and walk out again.
So easy. It
is totally. But can I roll for this?
Absolutely. So what do you want to roll with for Final Master?
Okay, Final Master. That sounds ominous. I think I want to roll with. Let's roll with Earth because caution seems well not very fitting. But I got a 9, so I got to hold 1.
Yeah.
To do.
You can add +1 forward, clear chi, produce whatever you want. Item-wise. Now, if you wanted to, you could spend one of your bonds to push that to a 10 and give yourself 2 hold for all of that purposes.
I only have bonds with Ming, but I think, I think I like the idea that I think, okay, if I rescue Lin Su, I could be a hero maybe in Ming's eyes.
Absolutely.
And that motivates me. And so I will, and then I'll have a 10, and then I'm holding 3 to fulfill my master plan, my final master plan.
Yes. And so we see you calculating there, and you are kind of sticking with Dylan, as Dylan in disguise is still clearly flustered, I want to say. Does that seem right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll come back to you two in a moment. We'll kind of like see what the next inciting incident is for that. Let's come back to Bountiful Providence, who, as you point out, has a start a session move, which is very rare in the game. So I always forget about that. So why don't you go ahead and roll Face to Fate?
$11.
Whoa, okay. Well, that is a good roll to have in your pocket for later. All right. So, Bountiful Providence, you have been probably doing what? Why have you not crossed paths with the rest of the group during this time? Been studying recipes? Have you been gathering things? Have you been scouting the area? What do you think has been happening that they have not seen you on screen for a while?
So after the encounter with the foxes and after seeing them fight them on, and I got the feeling, well, before this is over, I'm going to face them again. So this time I've been exploiting the fact that they have been on the defensive to spy on the would-be assassins and try to figure out their weakness, their behavior, their move. And that was also the moment in which I decided to, Felling Blossom is going to be on danger until Shadowed Saber is down. So now this is the key moment for me to step in.
That's perfect. And you would have been kind of following along behind through this. And when you saw that Shadowed Saber had been injured, you kind of went to follow behind that. you saw that Ming took him to the tofu shop, which made you seriously nervous. And then shortly after they went in, before you could kind of follow up on that, you would see Ming no longer with a cart, but with Shadowed Saber wounded in her arms, rushing away from the tofu shop. So what would you do? Would you follow behind, or would you, go and directly address this?
I think because of Bountiful Providence's personality, in a mirroring in the first episode scene in which she confronts Mings about her real skill, he steps in front of her and crosses his arms and smirks as if, well, are you going to stay by that story? But before that, I'd want to do Who's Smiling Proud Wanderer.
Okay.
So that I get a better image of what is going on.
Sure, absolutely.
And I want to ask... about Ming's intention.
So Ming, what is your intention right now with regards to Falling Blossom and what's going on here?
Oh, Falling Blossom. I just want Falling Blossom. I just want to get Falling Blossom someplace safe. Like, everybody wants to kill him.
Does that seem like a fair?
And like, if I left him there with my grandmother and I wasn't there to watch him, she'd have just like poked a chopstick through his eye. If the Fox sisters find him, they're going to kill him. If for all I know, his landlord wants him dead. It's like he's so pretty and everyone wants him so dead. So like, yeah. Like I want Falling Blossom to be safe.
Does that seem like a fair answer for you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Then what would you do, with that reading of the situation?
Well, then I'll certainly present myself with a more friendly and less challenging behavior. And more, it's kind of, do you want to keep your secrets, but also, do you want help with that?
And like, you appear in front of me as I'm like running down an alley. And I breathe a sigh of relief and I say, oh, Bountiful Providence, my friend, you've appeared at just the right time. Falling Blossom, he's in grave peril. There are many people who seek to end his life. Help us find somewhere to hide.
Have no fear. Between the two of us, nobody can get close to him.
Good. I fear that I would die if something bad were to happen to him.
There will be nobody dying today. Let's go, my friend. We need to get as far away from your grandmother as possible.
All right. And so I'm gonna follow you.
So I think we've established that you've had some time to look around the town during the in-between sessions. Tell me, what is the safe refuge that you have discovered, Bountiful Providence? What is the place that if you go right now, no one will be able to find you to until you mess something up?
There's actually, on the river nearby, there is a small boat that belonged to my clan, that after the butcher assassination attempt, the pirates, they quickly abandoned it for the time being, because they want to lay low in case magistrates were going to investigate. So I know that there's no one on that boat. So it's the safest place that it can be.
So takes you to this sort of tied up, ornamented houseboat. And
can I ask a question? I am curious. Bountiful Providence, do you take me on a route that I could only possibly follow you if I knew Kung Fu?
Oh, that's so good. Yes, because I was studying the assassins and I want to not be seen. We are going through the rooftops and we need to run alongside walls. So only really someone that has cultivated that key will be able to follow up. That's great.
Yeah, and I think that like there's that thing where like you do the whatever the like kip up the opposite sides of the buildings up to a roof somewhere, and I kind of look up at you and I look around to make sure no one else is looking, and then I kind of grunt in frustration and follow you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's so yeah, we can totally have
absolutely with that kind of a little bit shaken core, but you go to catch your breath here at this pirate houseboat. Let's cut back to Bao. Bao, Delon seems unfocused. What do you say to Delon?
Well, I will say to Delon, Delon, my friend, I have a plan. May I propose it to you?
Please, my Beijing, I am watching ever so towards the north.
I would wish to rescue my friend Lin Zhu, but to do so, we need to gain access into the castle. Now I know that you are a master of disguise. I've seen this again and again. So I would propose that you take on the image of one of the 4 deadly tigers that we fought.
I had a very good look at who did I fight? Was it I fought Jade, right?
It was Jade Tiger, the one with the rings.
Yes, I got a very good look at Jade Tiger.
Very good. And then we would gain access to the castle, and I think from there on, we would just seek to comfort the prisoners, or maybe question the prisoners. That's a better thing. To question the prisoners. And then if we are close to Lin Zhu, I'm sure we will be able to rescue him.
Yes. I'm struggling with using some river metaphor, of course. I'm struggling with what the Shadowed Saber might do with those he thinks are in league with me. Lin Zhu's clearly in danger, as are you, and I believe Ming might also be in danger. How do I... Ming is an innocent child. How do we ensure that she is able to be protected throughout this?
I think that is a very difficult thing, but you know, I think there is somebody who will protect her, very close to her.
Who? Her grandmother is not.
Yes.
She's doddering. I've known her for a long time.
But she's Ming's grandmother. Surely she will protect her grandchild from harm.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay.
And I've seen Xingxiang fight, and she is old, but she is astonishingly spry.
Once she was quite the master. I don't know that she still has the chutzpah in Chinese.
I think she does. When it comes to a grandchild, she certainly will become a tiger again.
Undoubtedly. Okay.
So
then do we see the two of you gathering yourselves together and heading out towards the estate?
Yeah, as we're going out there, I'm leading her in this awkward path, like in front of. What time of day is it? Is it still morning?
You tell me.
Is it still morning, Baojing?
I don't know what time we were at. I think it was coming onto morning. You're right. So, and then we fought here, and then we fought there, and I think, it's morning, not too early actually.
That early daybreak, where maybe there's still a little bit of the fog on the ground, kind of thing.
And little market stalls are opening up, and the city's coming to life. So I'm taking him. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. And taking him on this weird kind of path that might have you, might confuse you a little bit. But I'm like palming something here and grabbing something there, and slowly, underneath my robe, you catch glimpses of Jade Tiger taking form.
Oh, cool.
Nice. And certainly you've scouted this route before, and you're able to gather that, and we see you approaching, the two of you approaching that estate, and it's not that far outside of town. It is essentially an estate of a kind of a villa with walls around it. There are probably watch guards on the walls, and you know that this is the beautiful ornate house that Shadowed Saber has, along with his beautiful wife, Red Lotus Ling, who just happens to be Ming's mother. And we know that that some of the deadly tigers are here, and that there may be other foes to face. Let's come back to then Ming and Bountiful in the sort of the wake of that.
So first thing I want to do is when we get him into the boat.
Yep.
I put him down on a bed, and I kind of lean down next to him, and I kind of take his hands in mine, Falling Blossom, and I say to him, your family has betrayed you. Your master has betrayed you. You owe them no more loyalty. Tell us what we can do to, I will see to it that no harm comes to you. My friend Bountiful Providence has found us a safe place. You owe them nothing. Tell us how, give us some clue as to how to defeat them and keep you safe. And so I'm going to use my Bladeheart move.
Okay.
When you attempt to change the loyalty or purpose of a worthy agent of the villain, roll. So.
What do you want to roll with?
I'm going to risk my earth on this.
And then we'll look at that comfort and support action potentially from your companion.
So that's why I'm willing to risk my earth, because if I blow it, maybe I can get some help.
Okay.
So we'll see what we got here. Roll the 7 plus 2 gets me to a 9.
Okay. So Falling Blossom is still loyal. He's still trying to come to grips with it, and even though he's betrayed, he still has that obligation, but you see him kind of deflate a little.
And I'm going to choose from, because I've two options I can choose there, which is either he hesitates or he gives inadvertent help. And can I let me pick? And if this doesn't work, just say so. But I think if he passes out, then we can take his clothes and put them on Bountiful Providence to make them think that Bountiful Providence is Falling Blossom, if you're good with that, Ludo.
I mean, it's definitely in germ with Ushia, so yes, let's go with this.
I will say this. So when you're impersonating a specific person like Falling Blossom, that is a much more difficult thing. General disguises go without a question. Specific disguises go to a move like Delan has. So
yeah, like in my head, this is like just enough to get us past some mooks at the gate so that we can get in real trouble inside their castle.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're going to then take Bountiful Providence and leave Falling Blossom here to recover.
I don't want to take Bountiful Providence out of the scene until he's cool that we've done everything we need to do here. But that's kind of the general plan, I think.
Yeah, Bountiful. What do you think?
It sounds like Ludo's down with at least the outline of it.
Yeah, but as this is happening, and now that Bountiful pretty much cornered Ming, as he is changing his clothes, you have no chance of defeating Saber on that state of turmoil. Someone that keeps lying about who they are and their strength, they will not be able to call their true power when it comes to the time of need.
But
an open fist cannot be an open hand.
But all my life, my grandmother has told me that no one must know that I know Kung Fu. She taught me in secret, and I don't know what to do. To remain loyal to her, I must conceal my true abilities.
If you are concealing from the others, you are also concealing about yourself. Do you think that your grandmother would want you not to be at your best for whatever reason she trained you?
That actually makes some sense, I think.
So let's do the comfort and support, because I think you are supporting. Let's do that, and then let's see whether we think any of that arises to the level of inner conflict. But let's do that comfort and support first. What do you want to roll with, Ludo?
I think this is probably water. It's trying to be the voice of reason, being patient.
Yeah, I like that.
I have a 9.
Okay. So on a 9 on comfort and support, they can clear a chi, or they can add a bond with you.
I'm gonna clear a chi because I
bet.
I'm gonna clear my wood that I actually bumped by 1 last time, so that I did +2. Yeah.
I think that I don't think anything there raises the level of inner conflict. I think both of you have kind of steeled yourself with determination there. We've had some hits on that right now. We may see that again when you're, very much physically confronted on this. But for the moment, so do we see then you two heading off towards Shadowed Saber's estate then?
Yeah, I think he says that to me, and I nod, and I walk out of the little room that we're in to the little kitchen that's in the houseboat, and there's a cleaver stuck into a cutting board there, and I just kind of ching crink and just nod.
Okay. And we finally see you, in front of others, do those motions. So we do a wipe, and we see the estate. It is in the early morning still, so the household is kind of just rising. just coming to. And I think that there's probably a montage where we see the stealth and shadow skills of Delon. Delon's already been here. So I think, generally getting in is not a problem from shadow to shadow. Move along and quiet, and kind of amazing. Now, are you comfortable showing those skills in front of Bao?
My North Star?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm opening up to her. Him. So sorry.
Bao, what do you make of this somewhat sinister skill set that Delon seems to possess?
Well, I am a bit surprised because I know Delon as the governor from the destroyed province, who is a very proud and proper person, and that he would possess skills such as these. I am surprised. There is a side to Delon that I did not know.
So,
but I will refrain from judgment right at this point because we are on a mission, and when the water flows through a canal, it cannot go over the banks. That would defeat its purpose.
Absolutely. So I think
also I am wearing a straw hat, so nobody can recognize me.
Absolutely. And here's the thing is, you definitely, as you move on the grounds, you'll definitely see that the Waterfalling Dragons delegation has returned to speak with the Shadowed Saber again. So you know that they are back.
Good thing I thought of the hat.
So what is job number one? What is it you want to get to the dungeons and find the prisoners first? Do you think that's job one?
Yes, for me that's the entire job. I am not really. I don't really know that we are also going to kill Shadowed Saber.
Oh, we are, but
yeah.
Besides that, I think that finding Linsu should be job because we don't want him to be used against us.
Absolutely. Then I think that there are two parts to this. I think let's Bao. Let's have you do a study.
Yes.
And then assuming that you can locate the prisons, then that's going to be Delon's disguise potentially being put into play.
Well, I will reflect on the things I know historically from this castle and the architect who built it, and then I will roll with metal.
Excellent.
And I have a 7, 8. I've got a 9.
Okay,
so I've got a +1, but it doesn't go up to a 10.
With your scholar, that means you have 2 hold on study. 1 for a question.
Oh.
And then.
Okay. No, I get +1 forward to act on this information, which I think should go to Delon's role.
Okay.
Right.
So what are you get one question and then 1 choice of anything on that list.
Cool. Very cool. Let me see. Basic moves. Study. Yeah. Okay. So I want to know where the dungeons are and. Yeah.
So the easiest way to get in is there probably are doors inside the estate itself, but it seems to you, just by looking at the way this is laid out, that there's a secondary entrance from the guards' quarters to go down and follow up, and that's the easier one. It's one that the 2 of you can get to. And we'll have the least amount of people that will question you on the way.
Cool. Then I will relay this information to Delon and follow behind him.
You have 1 more hold.
Oh, I have 1 more hold.
Yeah, because of your special ability.
Right. Um. mm, 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 mm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Hmm, 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 hmm. I think that was what I wanted to know. Actually, I can keep the hold, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
to
You
ask
want
the
to
question
keep the
later.
hold,
Yes, I want to keep the hold.
or declare a detail.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure about declaring a detail right now.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just think I just keep the hold. Now I'm juggling a lot of hold, but yeah. Well,
but that's good. So we got those two things. So,
yeah.
Delon, Bao directs you to the guardhouse, and you are disguised as Jade Tiger. In the movie, they've actually got the Jade Tiger's actor back to play the role, so it looks exactly like Jade Tiger, and you're going to attempt to get the two of you into the dungeon. Does that seem right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I also have it takes a thief. So there shouldn't be any physical restraints that would.
Absolutely. Once you get in there, you'll be easily able to get through the doors. You are going to be, I mean, there are guards here that know Jade Tiger,
Mhm.
but and this will be the one point at which your very specific disguise will be tested here.
Okay.
So let's have you roll the imposter.
And you've got +1 to this because
Yes,
you're
plus
acting.
8.
8. So they nod, and they let you through. We can see, on screen that somebody is bringing word back that Jade Tiger has been taken, and eventually that's going to get to them. But for the moment, the two of you are able to get downstairs into the dungeons, and essentially it's stone stairs and then a set of parallel 3 cells there, and you will see there are a couple of other prisoners that are down here, and you will definitely see Lin Su is down here, of course, in chains, and groggy from what has happened.
Can I add a detail now? Because
Yes.
I want to add that there is a person, a jailer, who has the keys for everything, but he is just a jailer. He's not a fighter or anything. He's just a person who holds the keys and feeds the prisoners and cleans up stuff and things like that.
He's chewing on something. He's slightly rotund. He's got a headband on, and has the big ring of keys there. And so he looks up and doesn't pay the two of you any mind, because of course you're supposed to be in here because you got down here. So we'll say, what do you need? Or what do you need here? What do we need?
We are here to escort a prisoner. Too many questions.
Which one?
I gesture towards Lin Su.
Okay, and he will pull out his key, and he will turn it in the thing and let out, and he will say change to left on, left off, whatever we'll watch.
What?
The chains, they leave chains on, so we still chain, take them off the floor. What?
Remove them. He will be too heavy to carry.
And we'll take the chains off, and you can see that Lin Su hasn't realized that you are here to rescue him, but you've got a hold of him, and the jailer goes and sits back down, ladles himself a cup of water and sits back down.
At that point, I would like to spend one of my plan holes to make a gesture towards Lin Su so that he will recognize as part of the Water Falling Dragon training. So he knows that we're here, that we're friends.
And we see that flash of recognition of his eyes, that he kind of actually peeks under the straw hat and realizes that it's you. And say, and head down to play along with this. So I'm going to cut away from you two.
I think like as we're leaving, it's Jade Su is leading Bao Wang and Delon is leading as Bao Wang is like kind of carrying Lin Su.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't look like Jade's not helping.
Okay. And we'll come back to that in just a second. So you two, who are really equipped for stealth missions, Bountiful Province and Ming, how do you want to do this? Are you going to go in through the front gates? Are you going to try and sneak over the walls? What do we see with you heading to Shadowed Saber's estate?
What do you think?
I think we need to take down his assassins first. For anything else, let's just visit their quarters or wherever they are hiding and pull them out into the light.
All right. Yes, you and I together, if we fight them one at a time, we should be able to help.
So that seems to me like you are going up to the gates of the estate and demanding entrance.
I don't know that we're like Ludo. What do you think? I mean, like, is this a thing where we're gonna try and kind of creep around the estate and find the assassins one by one, or are we just gonna like go there and like call one of them out?
I think we're gonna exploit the fact that I'm wearing Felling Blossom's clothes as we are approached, so that whoever is at the gates does not get a good sign of us. That I just tell my sisters I've come to speak family business.
Okay.
So hopefully they will tell them to come before they say, "Oh wait, it's not Felling Blossom."
All right. Okay.
So I am going to have you roll. This is, I think, going to be. Let's see, what is the appropriate way? We can do this a couple of different ways. Let's have you actually roll fight mooks. Essentially, this is you convincing these guard mooks to let you through. I think that qualifies. What do you want to roll with?
Fire, because this game relies on speed.
Okay.
It has to be done fast so that they don't get to react with good thoughts.
Can I ask a question that's a little bit of a corner case thing?
Sure, absolutely.
Which is, in our first game, I had a bond with Bountiful Providence, but then Ludo left, so I just nuked it off of my sheet.
Oh yeah, you should put that back if you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
I had one when we started, and then I removed it because he left. But so okay, cool. So I'm gonna reclaim that then. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Lowell.
Bountiful Providence. What is your roll?
I got an 11. That
is an 11. So they have been told that Falling Blossom is an enemy, and they've sent people out to hunt him. And now Falling Blossom has come, and they know Falling Blossom is dangerous, and so they will certainly throw open the gates and allow you into the courtyard there, and we will see some figures approaching, and we will see of the 4 deadly tigers. We will see Iron Tiger, this woman, and she's very solid, very, very solid. Good, muscles and concentrated look. Her hair cut tied on the sides and then tied in a long ponytail at the back. And beside her, slightly bruised in several places, you will see Autumn Tiger, who is walking more casually with this umbrella over his shoulder, and the two of them are approaching. And we can see, the camera will probably swing over, and we can just make out Jade Tiger and Lin Su and Bao kind of coming out of the guardhouse. And we see that camera kind of do that swish around. So everybody's out in the courtyard. And that's where we're going to take our 5-minute break. And we will come back.
Wait, quick. Hello. It's good to play with you again, Ludo.
It's nice to be back.
Yeah. I didn't think you were going to come back, so I wasn't aware of that. I didn't look at the signups or anything like that afterwards. But it's good. This has been a pretty solid group with you, then Yoshi, and then you again. So it's exciting.
It's nice. I was lucky to have someone drop for this last session.
Alejandro, you had a question. I think I cut you off there.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, it was. So in the courtyard, is Jade Tiger with the other ones?
No. So what we know is, I mean, you took Jade Tiger. You know that Jade Tiger was the one that was taken out, so you disguised yourself as that one.
Yeah.
So all they know is that Jade Tiger was, the word is that Jade Tiger got defeated and has not returned.
Right.
So you still have some stuff to play with, though that there is that temporary risk that is hanging there.
Sure. Okay.
What actually happened to Jade Tiger? I forget. I know we fought him, and Autumn Tiger.
And one of them got away, and one of them you took out, and I believe, I think we just sort of hand waved that you had him tied up somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So off the table.
During my last level up, I took it takes a thief, which is great. But I'm realizing I should have taken the trap one where there's a trap laid out, because that's more along the lines of.
I don't think you've used It Takes a Thief yet, have you?
No.
Then if you want to switch it, go ahead.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. In our 13th Age game on Friday, there was a moment when the group were like, okay, our plan is we're going to go sneak up and do this thing. And it was at that moment that all of them realized that none of them are built for sneaking at all. And they were all like, okay, maybe we better do a second plan. And they had to work it around. But it was that moment that sometimes happens in a group where I realize no one took stealth. Have no rogue.
Oops.
When Jim gets back, we will get started.
We had the same thing last Thursday, actually, when they were trying to sneak around and break into rooms, and they just hadn't anyone who could do
that. It is always a delight to see the group go, oh, oops. So I want to frame the situation here once again. So imagine that we have an estate, Chinese style estate, big ornate house, probably has a couple of wings to it. There's probably a garden out back with a bridge and a little creek and a tree there. there's a big entry courtyard with a couple of smaller buildings out to the edges, like the guardhouse and so on. A couple of watch people on the gate, probably some other people milling around and such. The gates have been thrown open, and we can see that who we know is Ming and who we know is Bountiful Providence have come in and kind of keeping themselves just a little bit hidden. And we can see coming across the courtyard is one of the tigers that we've seen before, who was beaten up, and one we haven't seen. And they seem to be approaching to deal with Falling Blossom. At the same time, at the gatehouse, we know that there's some pressure about maybe somebody figuring out that Jade Tiger shouldn't be here. But we see a straw-hatted Bao leading a injured Lin Su up, and then Jade Tiger, air quotes, behind. We know somewhere on the grounds are Shadowed Saber, Red Lotus Ling. There's at least one more tiger, and we know that Littlest Fox is here somewhere, and Little Fox. So there are some figures here that we haven't seen, but we know they are on stage. I'm going to also assume that we also know that Chow An, Bao's master, is present here, likely engaged in a polite conversation with Shadowed Saber at this point. And then I think the final sort of turn of the camera is we'll see one of the guards with a straw hat kind of walking along, and we see them look up, and we can definitely see that it is Ming's grandmother come here potentially to exact her revenge on Bao in the midst of all of this. So those are the figures that are in play. So I'm going to start with our two that have brazenly entered in to the courtyard of their fearsome enemy. And how do you two want to play this? What do you think there, Ming, Bountiful?
So, how do the numbers look? It seems like we could put a good 1-on-1, or we would be eventually overwhelmed.
There are a lot of guards and things here, and eventually you'll have to face them. But I mean, if you could get through these two and then maybe charge in, maybe you could get some space, but it's going to be tough. If only you had others to help you, but right now, just the two of you alone, you may just fall here.
Okay, so I want to do a study because I'm trying to see if I can learn a way to be past these two first.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll with?
I will say water because I'm trying to notice something that I did not before.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and roll?
$11.
11. So you have 2 hold from the study move, plus you have the bonus from your roll.
Okay. So the first question is there a hidden pet or less obvious pet which we can take that would allow us to ignore these guards?
Well, I don't think there's a path that like you get to without being spotted right now. You've already been spotted. However, maybe you could go through the guardhouse and through the dungeons, because the dungeons have an entrance then up into the household, and that's something we've established, is that that is another way in besides going directly in.
And the other question is Iron Tiger. That was the name of the super dense one, right?
Yes.
I want to know what motivates them to work for Saber.
So the four deadly tigers are essentially given free reign to enact their violent desires. They are part of the hit squad, ones that went and cleaned up Shadowed Saber's enemies and probably killed off any number of Dalan's followers when Shadowed Saber arranged for the destruction of Dalan's own province.
So I turn to Ming. We can take the path through the warehouse. I'll try to distract them and then join you.
All right, I nod.
Okay. So what do you do, Ming?
So he's told me take the path through the warehouse.
Okay. And you're running towards the guardhouse?
So yeah, I'm gonna run towards the guardhouse.
Okay. So you break off and head towards the guardhouse. And of course, these two that are coming at you, Bountiful, will realize that, and you want to get up to them and essentially hold them off.
I want to make them hesitate so that they don't immediately rush after Ming. And in the chaos that ensues, I want to eventually reunite with Ming. So to spread the chaos, I get this feeling that they are just creatures of impulse and desire. And I just smile at them and say, I don't know what your play is here, but Shadowed Saber is going to fall today. One of you can be the new pack hunter, but guess what? There is not enough space for four on the top.
So I don't think they're susceptible to your words, but are you using Hopeful Apprentice to kind of hold them?
Yeah, because that's pretty much. I'm just making chaos enough that I'm unpredictable.
So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and mark Chi.
I'm gonna mark metal.
Okay, and essentially they come at you. Now a little bit angry. And one of them has the umbrella with the razor edges that they're kind of spinning around at you. The other one, Iron Tiger, is just takes blows. What do we see of your style on screen here?
So I unleash the full unpredictability of the Festival of 1,000 Cats. So I pull out my knives, and as Parasol falls down, I ride alongside and threaten at them way too close, making them flinch and miss at the last second. And as I get way too close to their face and they try to recoup, I just dart around, climb the nearest wall, and then fly over them, and I keep throwing random knives just to make them unsure of their footing.
And we could see at the end of this sequence that you've surprised them, but then they start to pick up on the pattern, and you can tell that soon they're going to get the better of you. But right now you're holding your own. Now, Bao, you were coming up out of this guardhouse. You have Lynn with you.
Yes.
And you will see this scene out in the courtyard, and you see Ming running towards the guardhouse, and then Bountiful Province, who you met, engaging with these two foes.
What are they doing there? What is Ming doing here? Oh no, that's not good. I am going to.
You promised Dalan that she would be safe.
Yes, damn it, I did. Okay, so I will let go of Lin Su. Hopefully, he can fend for his own. at that point, and I will go toward push back my head, of course, so she can recognize me, and run towards her and say, Ming, what are you doing here? This is dangerous.
Ming.
Oh, is this inner conflict? Because suddenly Bao is here, and I was not expecting to see him.
Oh, yeah.
And I know my grandmother is like hunting for him.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll. Yeah, I'm gonna roll metal on this, I think.
Okay.
8 plus 1 gets me to 9.
Do you want to spend a bond to not have to burn any chi there?
I do.
Okay. Which bond do you think we're burning? The Bao one?
The one with Bao Wang, yeah.
Okay.
It sure seems like the one that makes sense.
You keep yourself together. What do you say to Bao?
I say I stop startled and I say, Master Bao, forgive me. You must flee. You must flee this place. My grandmother seeks to destroy you. I don't know if she has allies in this, but she's on her way here now, and I cannot. If she arrives and sees me with you, she'll force me to fight you.
Bob looks at you and says, I'm not afraid of your grandmother, I'm afraid for you. This is a dangerous place. What do you even think you will accomplish here?
And what do I think I'll accomplish? Can I study the situation here?
Yeah, let's do a study move.
It's gotten super complicated. All right, so I'm gonna roll on wood with that because that's curiosity.
Sure.
Totally makes sense. Wow, that's a 2 on the dice.
All right. So as you look around, Ming, you will suddenly feel yourself knocked to the ground, dropped into the dust.
No.
You see throws off her hat, and you will see Ming's grandmother, and she looks down just furious and angry at Ming, and she says, you are worthless. I will finish this. And she turns, this time with actual blades, to face you, Bao. So I'm going to come back to you in 1 second, Bao, because I want to hear what you say, but I want to know what Delon, you've come up, you've seen this chaos. Ming and Bao have this conversation, even as poor Bountiful Harvest is dealing with these two warriors. There's a crowd out here. Lin Su will actually probably set to knocking out the guards, the mooks that are in here, so that they don't bother you. What do you want to do? You could take advantage of this to sneak past.
No, my niece and my love are under attack, and I must defend them. And nobody knows that Delon is here other than Bao. So I will appear, Jade Tiger will thrust between grandmother and the other two, and Hearts and Minds command her to stand down.
Oh, so here is an interesting thing now. This is your mother by our reading of the situation, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you're going to try and convince her to stand down from the revenge that she has spent years preparing for?
Yes, because the true enemy is shadowed saber, and we must fight together to we must fight together to defeat what he's done to the family. Yeah.
So if this were this, I'm going to have you roll now. Do you want to roll this with Strife for Mastery, or do you want to roll this with Hearts and Minds, because you have the ability to reach to her, even though you normally wouldn't?
Okay.
What would you prefer?
Strife for Mastery is conceptually is more a place of authority. So that would be revealing.
Yeah.
Delon.
You'd have to reveal yourself.
Yeah. Would it be I'm just revealing myself to her and nobody else?
Sure, unless you fail.
Right. Yeah, then let's do that. Let's do that.
What do you want to roll with?
Presence, Earth, 0.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
Come on, dice. 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. So on a hit, they choose 1.
Where I don't see a list. Did I?
Under Strife for Mastery, yeah. On a hit, they choose 1. Do what you say, get out of your way, attack you haphazardly, or freeze.
Where?
So I think that you appearing there, her son, will cause her to freeze. She doesn't immediately follow up to attack. Like, she's trying to figure out the situation here, and takes a step back.
Can I say that I don't reveal myself, but because she's my mother, she just knows who I am.
Oh, sure, that seems fair. Yeah. I can give you that. That works in the fiction. Bow. This grandmother, she pushes Ming down and then prepares to brace to lock up with you. And suddenly Delon, who speaks to her like he knows her.
Yes, I would like to meditate now, but I won't, because this is not the moment. And when the river is breaking loose, everything is swept away. So what I will do is I will ignore the whole grandmother Delan situation for now, because nobody's attacking me. And I will help Ming to her feet, because that's who's important, actually.
Absolutely. I think that and then what do you want to do? Do you want to get her out of here? Do you want to try and move back into the guardhouse? What do you want to do?
I think I tell her, well, Ming, that is very nice of you to come here and help me, but this is maybe not the right venue for this discussion. Maybe we should all go and find a more quiet place.
Oh. And I say to him, oh, you know what? I say to him, there's only one way out of this. You and I must go defeat Shadowed Saber.
Or we could do that. I actually... that actually sounds like a very sound analysis. Only, how would you defeat Shadowed Saber, Ming?
And I think I just say, Master Bao, your skill is your wisdom and skill are unparalleled, and with me to offer you words of encouragement, I'm sure that you will prevail.
Ming, I cannot. How can I fight when you are in danger? How can I fight anything but fight for you?
I'm putting. I want to actually mechanize this and do hearts and minds on.
Absolutely, that seems fair.
Yeah, sure, do.
All right. As long as you're with me, I'm not in danger, I say to him.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
And
true.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll with metal on this one as well, I think. Six and one, just to that 7.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Very nice.
So with that hearts and minds, for PCs on a hit, they may mark experience if they do as you ask. That is a badly written sentence from a cut and paste. Essentially, if Bao agrees, Bao will get to mark XP.
Cool.
And if Bao refuses, we both mark a G.
No, let's not mark G. I like having XP. And also, I really want you to be in this, but yeah. Okay, so Bao's face will stiffen up a bit, and he says, "Very well, then." Turns to Dylan. Well, my friend, it seems that things have come to a head, and we will now have to go and fight Shadowed Saber. This is not how we have chosen to do this, but well, let's go.
Let me cut briefly. Oh, go on.
I just wanted to say something to my mother, actually.
Okay.
As I turn to join Bao, I want to say to my mother, join us and we can free Red Lotus Ling.
She will step out of your way. Like she steps back, but doesn't move to join you.
I turn my back to her.
All right. Now, Bountiful Providence, during all of this, you are desperately trying to not be murdered by these two foes who are, they're coming in on you. You're kind of getting worn down. And you look back, and Ming has not left. But you will see Bao with Ming and this stranger.
Well, I mean, I'm literally, my life depends on me following up with the plan. So I tried to follow up in the hopes that, well, better case scenario, we can turn the tables on this. Worst case scenario, I just keep running from that new problem.
So you're going to stay here?
No, I try to divert it so that I follow Ming, assuming that she would continue. But because she's not continuing, well, I have to go there.
You have to go to her?
Yeah, I have to bring the battle there.
Okay. So I think that this is going to be an overcome, essentially, to get out safely from these two without them essentially overwhelming you, because they are a superior foe when they're joined together like this.
And I have an 8.
An 8. So I will... say if you want to get away, you can, but there's backup coming.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay,
let's do it.
Then I think that we see Bountiful Providence. You will leap away and land next to two of your friends and a stranger. And we will see Iron Tiger and Autumn Tiger kind of hold and begin to move. And that's the moment that we probably see the last of the still up tigers burning tiger. This woman, and she has all kinds of pouches and things on her outfit. She looks like a Rob Liefeld drawing, and she's got all that. She's coming running, and you will see Littlest Fox along with her. And the four of them come up to engage you. So, Ming, I know who you want to engage. Is that Littlest Fox? Or you want to take one of the other ones?
Oh, if they're all coming up. So basically, we got to get through them before we can get to Shadowed Saber.
Yeah.
It sounds.
This is the first chamber.
Yeah, you know what? And in fact, like I think, like if Little Fox like lands in front of me all snarly and like this time for sure, I'm just like, I have no time for you, fool.
And okay, so he will move, and of course you'll be able to humiliate her if you win. Bao, who would you engage with?
I would like to engage the woman with the pouches. She sounds like an interesting foe.
Okay. And that leaves Delon. There are two there. The one with the umbrella, and essentially the iron body, Iron Tiger.
So I don't think that you set it up that I can do this, but I kind of want to. I'm more offering support to the other players at this point, and there'd be scenes where like you see me in the dirt, slide my foot over some dirt to reveal like a line in the ground or something like that. That when Shattered Saber comes up, my trap will be revealed.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe along this, like in my support of the other players, I play House of Trap. I roll to see if I can,
Absolutely. You can do that. I will. One of the PCs will be facing two foes then.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. So
it's up to you.
Yeah,
it's a good challenge for someone.
Is everybody else okay with that? If you're okay with it?
I mean, I can hold two.
That's okay. I can take anybody who comes at me. I fought two before, so well.
You know what? I can fight one of them now, and in the fight, still be revealing the traps that I'm alluding to. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. I'm good with that too. Then, which of the two would you wish to fight? The one that you've seen before with the umbrella, or this woman with the iron body technique?
The one I've seen before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, comes landing down with that umbrella, spinning it around, moves into to engage you, and that woman runs you down to catch up to you, Bountiful Providence. Like she is furious. You've drawn her ire. You've danced around, and she absolutely wants to take you out. So let's go reverse order here. Bountiful Providence. She is a foe now that there's just one of them that is on your scale. What are you armed with now? You've thrown a lot of your knives away. What do you have in your hands?
Well, I have only my kitchen utensils and my own fists.
Okay. Then let's have you roll with fire.
Okay, time to get head on. And I have a 9.
You have a 9. So you've got a set of choices there. You can win at a cost. You can narrate how you lose and mark XP, or you can deadlock and reveal something about them.
Oh, I went to deadlock.
Okay. So what is the deadlock? What do we see, on screen there? How do you lock up there?
So I keep trying to separate them from the others. And as the battle is going on, I see that they keep giving side glances to one of the other tigers. And I realize that they are worried about how they are doing on the fight. And I sense that there is some kind of romantic or tie connection there. And I keep putting pressure. So I always keep putting within the space of vision. So always having the band to force, because they are always struggling before actually paying me attention or breaking off and actually helping.
Yeah, pushing them back, getting in their way so they can't see the other one, and she's trying to get at you, but you move so fast, and the two of you are kind of moving around deadlocked. Delon, this fellow who you saw fight Lin Su before, he has an umbrella. He's bringing that down. It's spinning around. Has the spear point on it, and he is coming in at you. What do we see of your style here?
Yeah, I slide like the rings off of my arms, the newly acquired rings off of my arms, and I I like start like because they're not my main weapon, but I start like throwing them at his feet, and then that starts like kind of revealing like hidden knives and needles coming out.
Excellent. This foe is your scale. So go ahead and make that roll.
$10, $12.
That is a 10, 12. So you have a choice. You can win this and finish them, or you can win and show them mercy.
What happens if I show them mercy? Like,
well, they're gonna get away then.
Oh no, he's one of the people that no. He like I throw the rings at his feet, and it's like literally like the rings are digging into his legs, going dunk 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 dunk, and with each one he just kind of like gets like smaller and smaller. They're not chopping his legs off, but they're
kind of knocking him back. Okay.
Yeah, and he's just like kind of falling to his legs, and he's fine. He's like looks in confusion, and I as I go in to do my move, the needles pop out of my finger, like from underneath my fingertips. But that includes me like opening up my shirt a little bit, and he and only him sees
the light catches it into his face.
Yeah, and he sees the setting prefecture emblem, and then I just stick him in the neck, like both sides of the neck, and yeah.
The look of absolute surprise and shock, and, falls to the ground there. At the same time, Bao, as this woman runs forward, you see her pull these patches out, and then she flings forward, and there's this boom, 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 these sets of explosions at your feet.
Ooh, that is very cool.
And the dirt goes flying up, and she comes leaping through that dust cloud to come at you.
And I'm not there anymore because I've got this other move, because I can appear behind her. And I think this is going to be kind of a dance, me rushing around, she's throwing her bombs. And I think I should roll this before I tell how it ends. Oh yeah, that I've got a 12. That doesn't end so very well for her. So this is not. I was not the right foe for her to face because of the way I can move, and in the end, I will just start snipping off her pouches, and then one of them will explode at her feet, and she will drop back. I will spare her because I mean, I'm not killing defeated foes, but I will tell her that she maybe should rethink her life choices because she is trying to catch water without having, and her pail has holes in it.
Yeah, the last little bit when you hit her, probably some explosions go off close to her hands, and she falls down, and she's holding them, and then that great big blade from your spear comes, and you do that, and she looks terrified. She knows that she's about to die, and then you kind of pull that back, and she's standing there kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, and maybe I hit her on the head just for good measure, just to be sure, But also I'll take an XP, and that means I can I take the advance immediately?
Absolutely.
Very nice. So I'll add another point to, I think to water. I get the feeling I might need that.
And littlest fox, she is going to. This is it. Finally, she's going to get her chance to kill you, and she is mad. And you're like, you do that look at her, and you're absolutely dismissive of her.
Yeah, and I think I think this is the thing where I just like I roll my eyes and I just go to walk around her.
All right. So
I have more important things to deal with than you.
She is your scale. Let us have you roll.
All right, so I'm rolling with my fighting chi, which I've got at a +2. And I am continuing to hide my style.
Oh, okay. So you are definitely humiliating her.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna make every effort to make it look like well, we'll see what happens based on my roll here.
Because it could go all terribly wrong.
Double sixes!
No!
Yes!
How? So, do you show her mercy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, okay.
Yeah. And how do you just absolutely destroy and humiliate her in this fight?
Oh, I think that what this, because you said we're kind of in the guardhouse and we're sort of headed towards the guards and stuff like this?
Well, they were headed towards the guardhouse to escape, so there are guards around. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I just kind of walk past her, and I'm walking right at the guards, who, because they've all been to the tofu house, know me and are confused and maybe not even sure why I'm there. And she jumps in and starts attacking me, and so I'm just the confusion with the guards, I'm just tapping the guards' spears to smack her in the head and all this kind of stuff and everything. And she just I think it's a thing where she just gets battered, just smacked in the head so many times that she's just kind of staggering around dazed.
Mm-hmm.
And and she's kind of stunned, and I just walk up to her, and both hands I boop, I put my hands on her shoulder and drop her down onto a bench, and I say and I say to one of the guards, something like, what do I say? She's stunned. Give me a bucket of water. And they hand me a bucket of cold water, and this should help her feel better. And I just hit her in the face with the bucket of water.
Okay, and drop her wet, unconscious in the mud, she is absolutely laid out.
I don't think, like, I don't want her to be laid out. I want this to be a thing where, like, I say, she's hurt. You need to take care of her. Pamper her. So she gets surrounded by guards that are all, like, fawning over her and, like, you know.
She can't get to you because they're like, no, you're hurt. You're injured.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I can do is change how a group of people feel about them.
Okay.
And so now the guards see them as her protectors.
Yeah, she's
like, yes,
she
yeah,
clearly can't handle herself if she can't fight the tofu girl.
Yes,
we shouldn't let her fight anyone else.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That seems absolutely right and appropriate. And the four of you, there'll be that moment where you can kind of look at each other and gather yourselves together. Do you want to try and rush in, or do you want to wait and draw these foes out here to you?
Well, Dylan, you have laid your trap in the courtyard, right? So we should maybe draw them out.
Yeah.
Then Dylan, you gesture for them to wait, and it's not long. And you will see 3 figures emerge from the house. You will see the bright red dress of your sister, Dylan, and of course your mother, Ming, dressed in her finery there, on Shadowed Saber's arm. And Shadowed Saber is there. And you can see that he's asked to come out with him the representative of the Water-Falling Dragons who's arrived. And you will see your master, Chao An, is standing there next to Shadowed Saber. And now there is a look of horror on her face. And Shadowed Saber will say, "Daughter."
Oh man. And I just shake my head. And I say, though you are wed to my mother, you are no father of mine.
And he will look at the others, and who is this ragtag crew that you have brought into my household? And Chao An kind of makes to say something, but doesn't.
Can I make my move?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's like an explosion of dust in the center, and as it settles, Dylan is standing there in all his finery, and the audience sees his foot in that clearing, and there's like a little like wire wrapped around one of his like around his toes, around his shoes, and like he's just ready to like pull the trap and execute his master plan.
Let's have you roll.
All right. $10, $11, $12. Well, yeah, 12.
Okay. So which of these foes potentially you're trying to hit? It is Shadowed Saber, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will go up, will explode out before anything else can be said. Essentially, he steps forward, and that explosion goes off. And Ming, you'll see your mother kind of fall back away from that, and Chao An falls back away. So what do you do, Ming?
Oh, I say, Mother, no! What have you done? And I attack Delon.
Okay. So you want to attack Delon?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. In a serious or distracting way? Let me ask you what the intent here is.
So this is like somebody just blew up my mother. Like I just saw this dude who I've never seen, who I don't know, blow up my mother.
No, the explosion was to reveal Delon. It was a dramatic entrance for Delon.
Okay. Did my mother stagger back because of the explosion?
I assume if you're doing the traps to get that opportunity, that's what's happened here. But I can roll back if you want to go back.
I assumed that the other two staggered back out of the shock of seeing Delon and the explosion in the entrance, rather than, the.
Sure, absolutely. If that's your intent. Then let's roll back to that the revelation of Delon. And Chow An will gasp. Here is this cursed, governor, and who's currently consorting with one of her students, and of course, your mother, Red Lotus Ling, will be shocked that her brother is here, revealing himself in such a way, and Shadowed Saber will, push the dust out of his eyes.
Yeah.
So, Ming, what do you want to do when that happens?
So, kind of to step up for a level, does this reveal? Do I now know that he's my uncle, or is it just boom? There's this dude from the hidden province there.
As the dust is settling, I say, "Sister, step aside. Allow me." Yeah,
That's an immensely important detail. There we go. Okay. That's immediate inner conflict, I think, as I realize. Yeah. Okay. So like that was the detail I was missing. Because like if it's just some dude who shows up, I'm like, another dude has showed up. Okay, cool. So that is good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll. What am I rolling there? Yeah, that's metal, I think. Trying to keep it cool here. 7 + 1 gets me to 8.
Okay. Do you want to hold? Do you want to stay here, or do you want to flee now that this has just gotten so complicated with your family?
My
your grandmother, your uncle, your mother, your stepfather.
Is my grandmother actually here?
Oh yeah, she's still here.
She is still here. Like so again, let's step up just for a second. Narratively, fleeing is kind of interesting because this is like overwhelming. As a player, I'm concerned it just sort of takes me out of the game. What is?
No. I think it's fair to mark the chi and stay.
Yeah. That's so that's what I'm going to do. Is I think I will go ahead and mark my medal. And oh man, and he's revealed. And like I turn to my grandmother and I say, what else have you not told me? What other secrets have you kept hidden from me to make me into nothing more than into nothing more than a tool for your revenge?
Do you ask her that?
Yes, I do.
She says, she is not your mother. Since you asked. Yeah. We'll come back to that in just a second. Bao, explosions, revelations, 3 foes, your master, who is clearly, you think, probably going to step to defend Shadowed Saber.
Oh no, that's not so great. I think I will, I think I will sort my priorities now, because that's actually what has to happen here. And that I think that's still in a conflict, because I really have to get myself to see where I am, because it's not really easy. I want to protect Ming. I have no personal problem with Shadowed Saber, but Delan is my friend, and I kind of like him, and then, but she's my master. I mean, I've been having doubts, but I've got an 8 because I rolled with a medal. Yes.
All right. Do you want to mark medal and stay on the scene?
I want to mark medal and stay on the scene. Yes, of course, but it's not that easy as easy as I thought. And I will decide then that whatever happens, I will stand in defense of Ming, because nothing else is important.
Okay. And Bountiful Providence, you see Bao kind of sees his master, but then you see Bao set himself like he's not going to run.
Bao, you are still thinking of her as your master, don't you?
She has taught me much.
Well, you have long surpassed her, and she has no respect for you. She sees you as a challenger, as a contender. She's jealous of how much you grow. You are not her student. She is not your master. You are two warriors standing side by side on the road to perfection. Only one can stand.
And nice. With this, I will turn to Chao An and I will tell her, I believe that Bountiful Providence has a point in this. Very long, I've just been laying like a puddle at your feet, but maybe it's time that the wave swallowed you up.
Let's have Bountiful Providence roll a comfort and support. And then I want to have her response.
11.
11. So on an 11 with comfort and support, you can clear chi or add a bond, Bao. And then if you want to, Bountiful Providence, you could clear chi, ask them a question, or gain a bond with them.
I will say I went to gain a bond.
Okay. So go ahead and write a bond there with Bao that you can spend later.
And also I want to have a bond too.
Okay. She says, you are a drop in the ocean of my students, and you will see what the wave can do. And she flows across the battlefield like you do. She taught you how to move quickly across the battlefield, and she is there next to you. Her staff at the ready, and there's that moment where when she's up at you, you're a little surprised because she does a thing where she knocks against your blade, and it does that kind of ringing sound as she does that. So Delan, let's swing back to you. We've got Shadowed Saber on the field. We've got your sister on the field. We've got Ming here in shock, and we've got Bountiful Providence. What do you want to do, Delan?
I am going to. I'm in my position, which in my like regal posture of not look. I don't look like I'm going to fight him. You know, I'm in my just my regal posture, and I command Shadowed Saber to set himself to his own sword in order to make amends for the destruction of the setting prefecture, and then I trigger. That's when I trigger the trap with my feet.
Mm-hmm.
and so I pull, you know, the audience sees my foot slide left, and pulls the wire left, and from his right, some darts come into his back, and then I pull my foot the other way, and some other darts come in from the other direction, just like piercing him, and he's just kind of like they're not like the killing blows, but they're like definitely like weakening him, and he falls to like.
Well, he's not going to fall to the ground. This guy is several stages of scale above the group here, but I think it's fair to have the darts hit, and certainly that gives you that mechanical bonus here.
Yeah. But so I want to maybe he takes like a half step forward, like so that we see that they had an effect. It's like he takes like a half step forward, like something happened to him.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, this is shock and awe and surprise, and you know, he steps forward there. Let's come back to Ming as those traps get set off on Shadowed Saber. What do you do, Ming?
I spin and I point at Red Lotus Ling. And I say, is it true? All those years when you mended, when you taught me to cook, you healed my scrapes and bruises. You tucked me into bed. You were never my mother. Why? Why?
And she will move up to you, and she says, I raised you as my daughter on his orders.
And so this is where like my lip quivers and a single tear runs down my cheek, and I say, and now the day has come for you to decide. All of those years, did they mean nothing to you, or did some spark of love, or is there some spark of love left in your heart? And this is where I'm using my I'm going to use my
Blade Heart.
My Blade Heart on her.
Good place to use that.
Yeah, because if ever there's someone I could maybe get through to, it's the woman who had to pretend she loved me for all of those years. So let's see what we got here. And yeah, I'm using wood on this.
Okay.
Because it's the only one I've got left. That's not my that's not my fighting chi.
Absolutely.
Boom, 10.
10. And you see her hands come out, and you see these needles, these poison needles that she has. That on screen we recognize as Delon's style. And now we know who attacked him before and poisoned him in the thing. And she kind of brings that down, and she can't close that distance.
Yeah, because and I think it's a thing where like I don't flinch, I don't hesitate. If like I just stand there, just completely vulnerable to her.
And she will pull her hand back. And she steps back like to clear the path for you.
All right.
Bow.
Yeah.
Chao An, your master, is up in conflict with you here.
Oh no. Is she above me in scale?
We're going to find out, aren't we?
Okay. Cool.
So tell me what that looks like. What do we see? What is the dance here at the start of this when you move in to engage with her?
Well, my blade spear is quivering a little, and I stare at her, and I stare at the spear quivering, and then I'll just jump up and twist around on the spear and like try to kick her. And of course, I won't hit her because she's fast. But I'm also quite fast. And this is a little, it's really like a dance. Like she's moving there and I'm moving after her. And then
yeah, the ripples, the water as she's moving, we see that air distortion there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing many of the same moves as you, and you're coming down. There's almost a mirroring here. As the water moves. We're going to come back to the resolution in a second because I want to know.
Can I say something to her?
Yes, absolutely.
I will say as we fight and as she moves like I do, I will say, you've always put me down for fighting, and yet you do the same thing that I do. You are a liar.
Nice. Bountiful, what are you going to do?
Who here looks to be more at a disadvantage of the other three?
What do you mean?
Well, Ming is having an emotional moment, so that's a kind of disadvantage. Bao is going to fight. I don't think there's the way around that. So which of them is on the most dangerous position, which needs me on my side?
I think that's a study.
Okay, let's see that. So 9.
9. So you have 1 hold from the study move and 1 hold from your ability.
I think to want to learn Saber scale. This
Saber
is all about.
Saber is a couple of degrees above you. You look at him and you know any one of you, any 2 of you, maybe any 3 of you can't take him. That it is going to require all of you to beat him. And in part, that's only because Delan has done those traps and has put him off balance. And has given you the opening to do that. You have another study then.
I want to find out what is the psychological weak point of Bao's master.
That Bao's master doesn't believe Bao has learned anything and believes that she is superior to Bao. Like it is her own arrogance that is her weak point.
Okay, so after doing that, I realized, well, we need to come together as a group if we're gonna do this. So Bao must face his own demons before we can continue. So I don't engage in the fight, but I position myself so that her strength is her speed is her biggest advantage on this battle, from what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if I put myself and knowing how arrogant she is about her superiority, she's going to divide her attention between the 2 of us, and she'll have to give away ground. And I believe that this is enough for Bao to capitulate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of thing that can be done as an action to change the scale up. We're going to resolve Bao's thing right now, and then we're going to come back to Ming and Delan. Bao, your master is on your scale.
Nice. So I will try to show her that I am actually on her scale, and that she cannot quite defeat me. And I will tell, yeah, and then I have to roll, right?
Yes.
Let's see what I will roll. Okay, I rolled a 6, and I've got a 3 of water, so I rolled a 9, and I will burn my bond with Bountiful Providence because he gave me such courage to stand up to her for a 10.
What does that look like? What is the blow that sends her flying?
Well, I think it's when she was rushing around, and then suddenly she was a bit, I think, distracted by Bountiful Providence's actions, and she had to go around him. And then suddenly I'm in her way, and she's far too close to me, which I was expecting. And I just hit, and my spear has a blade and hers doesn't. So I will just split apart her spear, and then I will push her like she goes over and goes to the ground. And I tell her, you should be more aware of your surroundings, Chaoan.
She's holding that broken spear in her hands, looking at it, just, I mean, dumbstruck. And she says nothing. She's just absolutely defeated on the ground.
And I bow to her because she has taught me much. And I will say so. You have taught me much. Maybe today you have learned something too.
Nice. Delan and Ming, you two are the ones that are not engaged directly with anyone. Shadowed Saber is, pulling off and is moving over towards you two.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping I do the killing blows. So I kind of want to be the last.
We're a ways from that.
Yeah. So
you want to kind of keep out of his range right now until you can get people together? Is that what I'm understanding, or what?
No. I think that perhaps he and I engage, but it's kind of more a show of. It's just a show of a battle more than the actual battle. It's more just kind of like.
So here is then let me tell you what that's going to be. If you're trying to sort of keep out of his range as you're battling, that's going to be an overcome. Okay. If you are actually directly engaging him, we are going to be rolling in a duel against a superior opponent. What do you think you want to do there? What dramatically feels like the right thing that Delan would do in this situation?
Well, I want like he's engaging him. Like there's no other opponent that he would engage. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really seem to me like that the battle is really happening yet. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
So you're trying to stay out of his way. You're trying not to fully engage. Because we have an opponent here who's trying to kill you.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to do this. Like
you got to pick a move, Alejandro. You got to pick how you're going to mechanically do it.
Sure. So I think this is an overcome, but it's not him not engaging. I'm just saying that the battle is not engaging yet.
We can, I'm fine with that fiction then. Let's have you roll. What do you want to roll with?
So overcome. What is that? Something.
That's a basic move. Do something under pressure.
Fire.
Fire. Let's have you roll then.
Eight.
That is an 8. So, I think he's going to catch you at least once in this exchange. He can't land a blow. He's trying to get at you, but you are moving, in the shadows and so on, and he gets like one.
I'm sorry. It's not an 8. It's a 10 because I didn't include my fire. I rolled an 8 plus 2. It's a 10.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So in that case, you are able to keep out of the range of that. Able to stay out of close. Ming, you see your uncle. Apparently, your uncle engaged with a Shadowed Saber.
Except he's not my uncle.
Yeah.
He thinks he's my uncle.
Exactly. Adoptive.
Yeah.
Certainly your mother has expressed her filial duty and stepped back.
Yeah. So she stepped back. Just so that I understand fictional positioning. Right now, Shadowed Saber is the only one of our opponents who's still on their feet?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what's going on? Okay, all right. Where's my grandmother in all of this?
She has stepped back. her eyes are still going from Shadow Saber to Bao.
All right. I step up to Master Bao's just defeated his master.
Yes.
So I kind of like take a couple of steps over to Master Bao, and I like do like a martial bow to him, and I say to him, "There have been too many lies today. I regret my untruths to you, Master Bao. I will stand by your side to defeat Shadowed Saber." And like behind my back, shing, like, you know, like the cleavers come out, and shing, and this is where I am going to change playbooks.
Okay. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
As cool. I reveal my kung fu skills. So I am going from my unorthodox hidden to loyal devoted child is my new playbook, because like that is all about like your family connections versus your conscience creating like difficulty for you, which I feel like is totally what's going on here. But yeah, and you know, Master Bao, I know kung fu. That's like this moment.
And you can see Bao's face just like, what? As he tries to progress this. But we are still fighting Shadowed Saber, and the situation is still kind of wild. So I will bow back and just say I'm honored to fight at your side.
Does I offer to stand with you? Is that comfort or support?
I like that.
Oh, nice. I like that too.
Okay, cool. So I do roll for this, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, roll anything but your style element. So I'm going to roll on wood.
Okay.
+2. That's a 12.
Look at that. So each of you can clear chi or add a bond.
Oh, I'm adding a bond.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right. So you will see your grandmother looks, and there's this just look of fury and disgust on her face. And then you will see her leap up to the wall and then leaps away like another day, granddaughter. And so the three of you are clear. Bao, Providence, you will see Delon up there engaged with Shadowed Saber. Shadowed Saber, working, trying to kill him. Delon, striking and evading blows, and but making no progress.
So let's get this poisoned plant out of the clear pond.
All right. So we do this a little bit narratively here. What we're going to do is the three of you are kind of supporting to help even the scale.
Yes.
So, Bao, what do we see on screen that you're doing to draw off defenses or strikes? What do we see how you're aiding and reducing this powerful foe's scale to get him so Delon has a chance? What do we see?
He has some guards around here, right? They will attack Delon, I think, quite vigorously. And that's where Bao can help. He will just, he will just spin his blade staff, and he will get between these guards and Delon, the duel between Delon and Shadowed Saber.
That's perfect. Shadowed Saber, I mean, that's part of his scale, is having this force around, and you are in the way. There's a, it is a wave that you create and push them back like the tide away from here.
Yes,
and
that's what I'm trying to do, at least.
No, and you do that. This is a descriptive, this is a narrative thing. Bountiful, how are you assisting here?
So Bountiful is being unusually direct He just going straight at him with every inch of strength that he has, because he's eager now to actually trade blows with something as powerful as Saber is. So he's just going to, he knows that he's not going to be past his defense, but he's going to make sure that he has to take account and acknowledge every single one of his strikes.
Yeah, that Saber comes and he's forced, to get that blade to interpose. It's your attention is pushing you back and trying to get at his foe, but now his attention is divided. Ming, how do you help?
Oh, so he's like got some kind of like crazy dark sword style or something
Yes.
like that, right? Yeah. I think that like I'm helping Master Bao kind of with the guards, because I kind of like the idea that we're sort of back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he's like this wave, and I'm almost kind of like surfing along with him as he, as we fight together. But then there's one point where like Shadowed Saber tangles up Delan and Bountiful Providence, and like, that sword comes up to strike the killing blow, but then a cleaver comes like spinning off from the side to like hit it, and just like the blade, like it's just the right angle, my cleaver hits it at just the right way, and there's just a like there's like that kind of loud chime as the metal just snaps, and the sword whoosh comes down, and like the top foot of it has been cleaved off.
Nice.
And my cleaver is like ding, like this, sticking out of a pole next to him.
Perfect. Delan, this is your time. This is your moment. This is your chance. This foe is equal scale to you now, thanks to the efforts of your allies. Let's see that roll.
All right. So, let's see. 4, 5, 6. I rolled a 12. I rolled a 6. But I have my +2 for the trap.
Mm-hmm. So that comes to an 8.
I have my connection, my bond with Falling Blossom.
Okay. So burning that, absolutely.
My bond with the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So tell me what is that final strike? As Shadow Saber is kind of maybe a little bit off by suddenly realizing his blade has been cleaved. How is it that you finish him?
So right up to the point where everybody started helping me during the overcome thing, like he's been hitting me, and I've been like he'd hit my arm with his sword, but then it would like reveal a little blade, like a hidden blade. And so maybe there were like 10 hidden blades kind of revealed through that period. And so in this moment, I trip him up, and so that I'm up on top of the top step, and he like kind of is down beneath me, and just blade after blade, that's when I pull them all out, and there's just like this laddering of blades going do 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 do, and then finally the killing blow is this one blade that just slides out from underneath my hand, and it just goes straight through his heart, and you see it pop out at the back.
Pop out the back, and he hangs there for a second before he staggers back, and there's a moment where his blade comes up and then falls out of his hands, and he collapses to the ground. And Shadowed Saber has fallen. Let me ask you this, Delan, because I think this is the move to the epilogue here.
Yeah. What
lies in the future for Delan?
He actually looks defeated, not triumphant. and he looks around at the people around him. And he looks to Ming, and he pulls off the governorship, the royal emblem of governorship, and he says, "Niece, this is now yours. Do with it as you see fit." And then he turns to Bao Wang, and he says, "My Beijing, I have no path left." And when he calls you that, he's revealing how he feels about you.
You said that before, but I think Bao understands at that moment what he means, and he looks like, oh my god, what is happening now? And he will bow to you and says, maybe neither have I, actually. Maybe we can discover a path together, my friend.
And does that feel like, is that enough epilogue for you, or do you want to say something else there, Bao?
No, I think I like the idea of these two going off together and fighting crime or whatever.
Together they fight crime. And what about you, Bountiful Providence? Certainly not going to get a job here.
Definitely not. I mean, I'm going to go back to the boat to see how Falling Blossom is.
He's strategically, he's got the bandages on, but his chest is exposed bare, and he's probably, he's got a sponge and he's washing himself down when you come. His hair is glistening in the light.
I prepared you some hot, spicy soup to get you better.
Thank you, and we see the two of you eating there. Ming.
It is clearly several months later, and I am in the tofu shop, and I am serving people, and a peasant rushes in, like the door bursts open, and a peasant says, "Ming, there are bandits. They're bandits. They are ransacking. They're ransacking Sharpened Blade's shop." The
guy who we opened with in section 1, yeah.
And I sigh, and I put the tofu down, and I kind of reach behind me, and I pull out that badge that he gave me, that my uncle gave me, and I tuck it on, and I nod, and I follow him out the door.
Yeah. Through the swinging doors, so we have that sort of Western reference as you put your badge on.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Awesome. And that's where we're going to stop. Thank you guys very much.
Oh, can I add one tiny little detail?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Because that's maybe months later, and we see Dylan and Bao Wang on the street. They are walking, talking. They seem relaxed, but behind a tree, there is the figure of an old woman looking after the two of them.
Yeah, the straw hat that completely disguises her, but we see her look up.
Yes.
And then look down.
There is hatred in her eyes.
Oh, absolutely. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, well, that was pretty sweet for me. So I had a good time. Let's do a quick, we've got just a little bit of time. I do want to do a stars and wishes here. Being stars in terms of things that you really liked about other people's play, about scenes that you had, about the game, and then wishes, maybe some things you would have liked to have seen more of. If I were to have done this again, things you would have liked to see me lean into, or that kind of thing. So I want to start with the stars, we'll do everybody around on that, and then we'll do the wishes. So let me start with you, Alejandro. Do you want to point to anything star-wise that you really dug?
I posted this under Dreams yesterday, but the synergy in every game I've played has been fantastic, and even here with the fluctuating synergy, both with Yoshi and then now Ludo. It just, you guys, we all just boom, boom. It just fit together. It's always fitting together. And this was a wonderful game. Lowell, you did you did a fantastic job, just kind of balancing and bouncing with us. So kudos to you.
It was a great group. Like, you guys worked together so well. Even when there was opposite agendas, people were willing to play and willing to roll back, and that's, for me, that's always a delight when I see the players doing that with each other, playing well. So I second your statement. Jim?
I always offer a star or a rose to everybody for kind of indulging my indulging my self-indulgence, my kind of over-the-top theatrical stuff, and especially in a game like this, I very much appreciate people kind of letting me run, for the most part, kind of run the ball where I wanted to run it. So that was very cool. I really liked Ludo. Kudos for being able to just jump right in, like first and last, because it was, like it felt like you were there the whole time. That may have been because you were there for the first session, but you did a great job of just running right with it. In particular, like you're on board with the system and you know what's going on. So we didn't need to spend like 20 minutes working you in at the beginning, which is always a danger when you have like somebody jumped in at the end of one of these things, and you just did great. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Alejandro, I loved that everything worked out so that like you got your big revenge story in a way that didn't feel like it stole any kind of spotlight from anybody else or anything like that. It was like, by all of us working to get you to that goal, we also all got our own things, which is really cool when that can happen. And it doesn't always happen that way when like one player's goal is, I'm going to kill the big bad. Then, sometimes that can mean everybody else kind of just sort of, their plots sort of get sidelined, but it didn't happen that way at all. And I really loved that was fantastic. And Sabine, I cannot say how much fun Master Bao was, and especially like you were there with the slightly like the eccentric and slightly obfuscating like wave and water metaphors, like right through to the very end. So that was your commitment to that role. I cannot commend you enough on that. And it's just you're always a joy to play with. So I really appreciated it. And Lowell, I've been trying to get into one of these for months, and I've been like studiously binging my way through Jianzhu Hustle and stuff like that. And so just a thrill to finally get to play it with you running it. And I'm really looking forward to the game coming out. And this was a treat from start to finish. So thank
good.
you.
I'm glad you dug that. Awesome. It's a story genre I love. So the chance to actually get it on the table is what's making me very happy. So
between this and the podcast, like I'm like, well, I've never seen Iron Monkey. I probably should go watch that. And so I've been like kind of binging a bunch of Netflix stuff too. So yeah.
Ludo, anything? I know we brought you in first session, and now we bring you in last. And again, I want to thank you again, because you came in and you did a magnificent job today. That's going to be one of my stars here. I'm going to say right now is that. So anything you want to point to that you dug?
I mean, thanks everyone. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming, but everyone neatly presented, nicely hooked. They gave me the opportunity to bounce off everyone together. I mean, I really loved how quickly Jim caught up, and we started immediately as if no space of time happened between the first time. It was amazing how that flew off, and it's without being outright obvious, which is fitting with the genre. We created this kind of friendly rivalry that that it will be something for the second season or the second movie.
Yeah.
At the same time, Alessandro had a complete arc, and instead of like Jim said, competing or overshadowing, it built up upon everyone's step. And the same thing for Bao, that was basically able to be the glue holding everything together, and Sabine was just bouncing and forth, and it was amazing to see them step up. And in fact, that mirror that we see every single character stepping up on a different way and culminate on this big encounter. I mean, I was really glad that everyone gave me the opportunity to be part of that.
That's good. Solid. Sabine.
Oh well, yeah, stars to everyone. So many stars. You are stars, actually, all of you. I love this game, and I love the way that you played it, and the Dylan's revenge arc. That was great because in the end it became all of our agenda to help him and to get this evil dude out. And then Ming was just a delight, and I loved the reveal. I have to say, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I wanted to see how Bao would react to Ming saying this. And Ludo, that was just perfect, the way you just slid into the whole narrative again after missing a lot of developments in the last two sessions, because we had to abandon, of course, the Pirate King storyline. I thought it was great that you were so willing to roll with what we had done here, and we were willing to just slide into the game and into the story. That was great. And Lowell, can I say you're just a fantastic GM?
Oh,
you gave everybody spotlight. You gave everybody a little an arc, something they could accomplish, and everything just came together in that last scene. And it wasn't even on time. That's perfect. And also the game is fantastic. Like Jim, I've been waiting for a long time to get into one of these.
Sherry said something I want to kind of push that and I think this really showed in this. A really good session, a really good arc is where you could have watched this movie and said, well, Delan was the protagonist, or Ming was the protagonist, or about. And I think this movie could have been any of your character stories, and I think all of you, played that through. So yeah, sorry I cut you off there a little bit. I apologize. Just quickly, anything that you would say I should keep in mind as wishes or rough patch things when I go to run this again. Now, I want to say this isn't a play test, but if you do have mechanical things or questions and stuff, if you want to email those to me, I'm more than happy to take that feedback. I don't want to do play test stuff now, but in terms of how I ran it and things you saw or things you wanted to see more of, Alejandro, anything that struck you that you would have liked to see more of, or something along those lines?
The character concept I came up with for Delan, although I was able to create it out of this stuff, it didn't quite exactly fit in any of the playbooks. Yeah, it does seem like something that should be part of this, the fallen person who's trying, you know what I mean? I didn't have a problem with how it manifested, but maybe like a little bit of tweaking of wording that somewhere that allows new players to go, oh yeah, we can go in this direction.
Yeah. You made a really good point about that early on, about the fiction that in some of the move descriptions that put a particular tone to it that you could adjust. So I think that was really good.
Yeah.
Jim, anything you want to point to as stuff I should keep in mind for later or anything?
Yeah, so two things. One was that no matter how many of these games I play, I feel like there's never enough mook fighting. We didn't have and like in the genre, one of the ways that you establish scale early is you have somebody beat up a crowd of mooks.
Right.
And we didn't have that. Like I love the story, I enjoyed it, but I did notice that was like a genre element that I expect that we didn't really see in this one. Kind of the only time we saw it was a little bit of a kludge, because it was basically somebody trying to fool a group of guards, and you had them use that fight mooks move, which is a totally legit use of it. But we didn't have anybody demonstrate their prowess by beating down a goon squad or something like that.
And you're right. Usually I do that in session 1, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so that definitely is overlooking.
In particular for Ming, because the whole point is that she's trying to hide her style. Like being able to beat like 8 guys while still not looking like she knows Kung Fu would have been a fun character thing. The other thing I couldn't help but notice is that we never, in 4 sessions, 12 hours of play, we never rolled impress once. Yeah. And I don't know if
this is a move I love, but it is at some point I'm going to have to kill my darling on that one, because it is on there, and I think I've seen it all of once.
Yeah.
So yeah, you spot the nail that is sticking out. Yeah.
Well, and I spotted it because to some extent in that very first session, Ludo and I set our characters up so that you could have us do a cooking contest against each other.
I was going to say exactly that. I was really aiming for that move on the first session, and it did not happen. And I was really going
like
for
the fiction just sort of never got there. But like I was like, cooking contest, and it just sort of never came together.
And I agree, because I love contests in games. That's one of my favorite things. So that's a really good point. And I will consider how to do that better. Ludo, anything you want to point to?
I mean, I almost forgot about the impress point. But yeah, that was it. Another thing that, well, it was the same problems. This may be something more on my end, but the fact that the same reason why it's so open, the approaches, it also gives you kind of paralysis analysis. So at some point, exactly which element it fits. So that was a bit, I think, maybe on my end, I should be more, when I'm describing the action, letting that be the guide. Other thing is, I just wish to play more this system. I mean, I was so impressed at the first session, and it deliberately much more complete this time. And I just, the hype is real. I just want this to come out, and my biggest wish is for this to come out.
Awesome. And that's a really good point. That is one of the things is I need to figure out ways to make those choices of approaches more accessible. That's certainly, some people really, really dig it. And I have had players like yourself that they get stuck. You know who gets stuck? Rich Rogers. He's like, oh, I don't know what to. And I played with him for years, and he gets stuck.
That totally checks out from my played with Rich. Yeah.
Right. Sabine, I'm going to give you last word. Anything you want to point to?
Oh no, I have nothing that I want to point to, except that I would like to play more of this. I actually loved everything, and I think having those this impress move, I looked at it at the first session and then I forgot about it, but I think it's a really nice move actually. And I think, but I think it goes more into the anime serious kind of thing, where you have cooking contests and this "I am better than you and now I'm going to prove it" thing. Maybe than the classic drama thing. We were yeah. Go ahead.
It may work better in a courtly thing if we're doing where it's more of the sort of the period drama kind of thing.
Yeah, this was more like a fighty drama thing that we played, and our cooking contest, I don't know if it would have been totally on point or on tone for what we did, but it might have been. We might have gone in that direction, but we had Dylan with us, and that kind of set the tone for a more dramatic thing. If we had just had those two cooks and the wandering scholar and maybe another more, let's say, more goofy character, then that would have been totally appropriate. But we were heading into a deep drama and mistaken identity stuff, and then I think that wouldn't have been very useful.
Yeah, like if it had been Sabine, if it had been you, me, Ludo, and Alejandro had to drop, and we had Yoshi's character, the four of those, then that's a very different. It's got a very different valence to it.
Yeah, that's got a very different dynamic. So Dylan's story was driving a lot of the tone, which I liked. I liked it. I liked the way that it went not into let's have a more sillier, one of the sillier. I liked the way that it went into the whole drama stuff. I wanted the drama stuff.
It was a nice undertone of the darkness that everything was happening, but we still knew that there were these stakes underneath. So,
Two cents. It seems like Impress could easily be rolled into something out like Hearts and Minds or something like, you know what I mean? Because I think it has an important potential. You know what I mean? So just 2 cents. That's it.
Jim, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So kind of just a question about the game and where it is in development. How do you feel about other people running it? Would you prefer that we ask permission? Like, because I would love to put a couple sessions of it up for Dreamation if you were comfortable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you, I'm going to stop the broadcast here.